Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Otome.com podcast. I'm Lover's Lens, and I'm an author at Otome.com. So if you love Otome games as much as I do, you're in the right place. I'm all about talking about romance, character arcs, and beautiful artwork that make these visual novels feel so special. When I'm not wrapped up in a visual novel, you can find me somewhere in the woods camping or just baking something sweet at home.
And I'm her humble co-host, Morik. I got hooked on Otome games fairly recently, and I'm here as a bit of a novice and to offer a guy's perspective. In my free time, I'm probably working on DIY projects, reading from my fantasy collection, or, as of the last few weeks, discovering new Otome games.
So me and Morik are so excited to be here talking about all things Otome. Whether you're a longtime fan or just starting your journey into these amazing games, we've got something for you. Not only will we cover the latest Otome releases, but we're also bringing you exclusive interviews with the developers behind these games.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, check out our website. It's your go-to for everything Otome. We've got reviews, detailed articles, interviews with the devs who bring these games to life. What's great is you get to see how these stories come together from the creative minds behind them.
We love giving you those behind-the-scenes looks at what inspires developers and how they create such complex characters and what they've got planned next. The idea is to put the spotlight on some games that are not so popular or they're just new. We're constantly searching for new hidden gems. Plus, you get the both of our perspectives, mine as a gamer and Morik's unique view as a guy who is new to Otome games.
Yep, I'll try to bring a different angle to things, especially when it comes to understanding the characters and stories from the perspective of someone who's not very familiar with this kind of storytelling. Whether it's romance, drama, or something with a bit of mystery to it, we'll cover it all here.
So grab your favorite drink, get comfortable, and join us as we explore the world of visual novels. And don't forget to check out Otome.com for full reviews, articles, and behind-the-scenes looks and interviews with some of the most talented Otome game devs out there. Let's get started.
Today we're going to talk about this new studio called Ravenstar Games, which was started by a group of friends wanting to make Otome games, and I gotta say, their first project, Lost in Limbo, is knocking it out of the park.
Okay, what actually caught my attention when it comes to this game is the incredible way they did the choice system. You know, they didn't limit themselves to simply choose what the main character to do. It was combined with some shivering text and limiting your mouse to choose a certain answer depending on the situation. And actually, this whole system they developed for this game provokes a lot of emotion inside you. And when it comes to the horror part, when I played the game, it felt really real. Like I had a lump in my throat when I actually played it. And I haven't seen that kind of approach in that much Otome game, so I think it's a nice addition to the whole story. And the story itself, it's something different. It's not your usual cliche romantic story. It's mostly fantasy, mystery thingy. It's, of course, a classic isekai thing, but it's delivered in a different way.
It also goes some pretty interesting places at times. It does have some dark themes. It does explore some dark themes like trauma and some quite toxic family dynamics and also forgiveness. What you said earlier about the text and everything, I think that all adds to the immersion of it. It gets you much more into the story because when you...
Feels personal. It's just personal,
feels
right?
personal, yes. And as I said, immersive. I've had some problems with some games that you feel like you're reading the story and not you're part of the story, but not here and not. It feels like you're part of it.
What's interesting, actually, the Ravenstar teams are quite inclusive. They let you choose your pronoun in the beginning and to choose your own name, which actually adds to the immersion as well.
Yeah, that's something I've seen in a lot of recent Otome games. Actually, I'm very happy to see a shift that has honestly been a long time coming, especially when we're talking about the games in the genre that allow you to build your own character.
Yeah, and it's not like in your face. Like they have a lot of different kind of love interests in that game. They have trans woman and they have older guy you can hit on, and they actually have all of the different varieties of preferences you can have. And it's not in your face. It feels natural the way they did it. And it's, yeah, it's very good when it comes
Yeah,
to that thing.
inclusivity is always a good thing to see done, and Lost in Limbo certainly does it right. And generally, as I said, seeing it more in the industry, in the sphere, it's a positive change that's been a long time coming. And this is one of the Lost in Limbo is like one of the best examples of recent games that I can think of like that.
And also, I want to add the team itself, like it's a small team they're friends actually. So they make this game out of passion, and the team members, they're also part of the LGBTQ plus community. So everything that comes into the game, it comes from personal perspective, and they talked about it with us in the interview. So if you guys feel like exploring this topic further, you can just read the interview we have on the website for more details. And I wanted to mention as well the sprites, the art, it's very...
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
It's amazing, like super hot men and women they did.
I'm actually more fascinated by the atmospheric artwork. The
And the
background.
atmospheric artwork, for fuck's sake. It's very good. And the subtle animations they have in the background as well.
Yes, yes.
Like, this is not something you see that often.
Yes.
And it's not too much, just the right amount of static animations to just bring the whole atmosphere to you.
Yeah, when I think about too much, I think of maybe, what example can I give? Maybe Save the Villainous is a bit too much when it comes to background animations.
Yeah, it can get your head dizzy when you play it.
But there's also the Too Little, which is more common to see. But Lost in Limbo gets it just right, I think.
What's interesting, actually, that's their first project.
That's their first project.
Yeah, and it's way too professional to be a first project, honestly. Don't see. Like you can feel that it comes from passion.
How
It comes
long did it
from-
take them to make it?
I think they told us that it took them 3 years to develop the demo, and they're gonna spend 3 more of developing the full game, and depending on the Kickstarter campaign, of course.
Yeah, depends on how well they do. But they
They
seem to
m-
be doing very well at the moment. It wasn't
Yeah,
like the first 3 hours, it was already half funded.
something like that. Like it's maybe 7 or 8 days into the campaign. At this point, it's almost funded, and the funds needed are not too little, honestly.
Yeah, a big goal, which is always a risk, but that risk is paying off.
Of course. Let's talk a little bit more about the story. What actually got me into the story? Like we have this typical mysterious thing that you actually get into Otome games. Let me say it like that. I don't want to spoil too much, but the game starts with an amazing, it's not a combat scene, it's thrilling scene where you have to fight for your life and you actually couldn't save yourself and you die. So you start the game dying, which is quite unusual. And that's how you get into the Limbo world. It's actually very interesting and it feels so real. Like I caught myself scared at moments for real. Like having a little jump scares of some creepy sprites and demons. And
Oh
some
yeah, I remember
kinds of
seeing
that.
demons. They were
Yeah.
quite gruesome for this type of game, the design of them.
I know you like that kind of stuff, so
Yep.
I know that you enjoyed it. And what we can say more about the story, like for me, it feels like it gets on topic that people don't really like talking about. Toxic relationships, depression, guilt,
Yeah.
and very interesting approach. I should mention here that they actually have content warnings when it comes to these sensitive topics.
They definitely need to put those content warnings there because these kinds of topics aren't for everyone. We don't know what person's gone through before they get into a game. But just, yeah, it's good to see that more and more games take these things seriously and put the proper warnings up ahead.
Also, there's like every person has their own trauma. Having that kind of stuff in games actually adds to the immersion a lot, because this is real life. In real life, you get traumatized by stuff.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel sympathetic to the main character. So it's quite nice. And the moments where 7 gods come to protect you and you have to make your choice about it. This is like the dream you had when you were relieving this fear or trauma in your life. Like you wanted to have emotional support from someone, and here they provided it in the game. So actually make the connection stronger between the character and the love interests. So actually the central conflict in the game is, as far as I understood from the demo, is to choose God, a Limbo God, to actually protect you and to understand why you got sucked into the Limbo world and how to get back into the real world. And you're actually not sure if you can even get back, and this is horrifying. But after finishing the demo, I just wanted to have more and more.
As a person who is legitimately scared of death, like have it as a phobia, that is a horrifying concept.
But still, wouldn't it tingle you a little bit to explore that?
The same way Puss in Boots helped me explore it. I'm not joking, that movie is great.
Really? Okay, I think we can wrap it up here. So go check out Lost in Limbo.
Support their Kickstarter.
Yes, consider supporting their Kickstarter, because this game needs to get out in the market. We need to play it. We need to know what happens further in the story. And thanks for listening to the podcast of Otome.com, and see you in the next episode.
Goodbye.